right, the next example here, example 4. Now we're going to see the problem stated in a different way. Before, we were given the percent and the whole. Now, you're given the part and the whole, and you have to find the percent. So if you remember the formula, that will be easy to plug in your numbers, and you'll be able to find the percent now. What percent of 12 is 16? So our formula, remember, is percent times the whole equals the part. So in our problem here, the percent is what we want to find, P. The whole, okay, what percent of 12, that's the whole, is 16. That's the part. Do the math. 12p equals 16. If you divide by 12, both sides, you can solve for p. Okay, 16 divided by 12, you have 1 with 4 remainder. Okay, you're going to add a 0 and bring down the 0 right here. So we have 40. And how many times can 12 go into 40? 3 times. And what does 3 times 12 equal? That gives us 36. Now what's 40 minus 36? That's going to give us 4 again. And we're going to bring down another 0. And what's 40 divided by 12? 3 again. And so our answer, we have a remainder of the 4 that keeps repeating. So our final answer is 1.33 and 1/3. How do we get the 1/3? We took the 4, put it over the 12. 4/12 gives us, is the fraction that gives us reduced to 1/3. And so that's how we have 1.33 and 1/3. So we take that and convert it into a percent. Okay, so now we're going the opposite. You're going to move your decimal over to the right to get a percent. So 1, 2, we have 133% and 1/3 percent. That is your final answer. If you notice here, the whole is smaller than the part. Okay, 12 is a certain percent, or what percent of 12 is 16? So your whole is smaller than the part. So that means your percent is going to be greater than 100%. That would be your clue. If your whole were greater than the part, then your percent is going to be less than 100. Now, the next example, let's take a look at this, okay? 108 is what percent of 150? Solve by using a proportion. So now, we're not going to use the percent formula, but we're going to use the proportion. The part over the whole is equal to the percent over 100. So, what is our part? Okay, look at this first statement right here, or this first question. 108 is what percent of 150? Which is our whole? The whole is 150, and the part is 108, because you're trying to calculate 108 is what part or what percent of 150. So now we can plug those numbers in. 108 over 150 is equal to the percent over 100. Now we cross multiply, and you have 150 times P is equal to 108 times 100, and you get 10,800. Now we want to get P by itself, so we have to divide by 150, divide both sides by 150, and then your P is going to be 72. Now, if you look at this carefully, you could cross out this 0 and cross out this 0. Then you just have 1080 divided by 15. That would definitely be much easier to divide than 10,800 divided by 150. So always look for ways where you can right away reduce your fraction as much as possible before you move on. Okay, so your final answer here is P equals 72. Now, sorry, P equals 72, okay, but it's asking you what percent is that. So you have to take 72 and add the percent sign. So 108 is 72% of 150. Now, the next example here, it says 8 is 16% of what number? Find the number by using the formula. So now we're back to using the formula again. And what is our formula? Formula is the percent times the whole equals the part. And so what is our percent in this equation? 16%. But we have to convert 16% to a decimal. So what is that? Yes, 0.16. And then times the whole, we'll use W for the whole, and the part is 8. So now you're multiplying 0.16 times W. So to find W, you're going to have to divide by 0.16. 8 divided by 0.16. Let's see how that is going to give us 50. Okay, so when you take 8 and you divide by 0.16, you're going to have to work that out carefully. And remember, you have a decimal here. You're going to have to eliminate this decimal in order to divide it into 8. You'll have to move the decimal over 1, 2, but then that means for the 8, you're going to also have to move the decimal, add zeros, and move it over 1, 2 places before you do the division. And then that's how you end up with 50 as your final answer. The whole amount is 50. For example 7 now says 28% of what number is 182? Solve by using a proportion. So we're going to go back to our proportion formula. And I would suggest you can write down this proportion formula as well. Once you have this proportion formula or the percent formula down, these equations will be easy to solve. So the part over the whole equals the percent over 100. 28% of what number is 182? So of what number? That's going to be your whole. Is 182. 182 is the part because it's 28% of some number. Okay, so you're going to plug those numbers in. 182 over W equals 28 over 100. You cross multiply and you get 28 times W right here. 182 times 100, 18,200. Then you divide by 28 and your W is going to be 650. The whole amount is going to be 650. So if I plug that back into our statement, 28% of 650 is equal to 182. Okay. Now, here are two equations or two formulas that you'll need to memorize. Okay, forms of the percent equation. The percent times the whole equals the part. Now, if you take this percent formula, you can find the percent. The percent is equal to the part over the whole. If you take the whole, it's equal to the part over the percent. Part over the percent. So when you read your problems, read them very carefully and find out what you're looking for. The part, the percent, or the whole. And you could use any one of these three formulas, and that will help you to solve either for the part, the percent, or the whole. Okay, so your assignment for tonight is going to be 7.2, page 273. These are some of the numbers that I have selected. There's 13 problems for this assignment. Hopefully this is a good variety where you're going to use the percent formula and the proportion formula. And then show all of your work. Okay, if you want full credit, you're going to need to show all of your work and then upload your homework to the assignment in Teams. Now, this is going to be different than what we've been doing. Initially, I've had you guys turn in your homework by email. Let's try doing this way through Teams. This will help us to keep track of your assignments a whole lot more easily, okay? And then I can see right away too, for each assignment, who has turned the assignment in. Some of you have already been doing that, and so great, just keep doing that. But the rest of you, if you've been emailing me, let's upload it in the Teams tab instead, okay? So under this assignment, the assignment tab, go to lesson 7.2 and just upload your picture, the picture of your homework. And again, make sure you do all of the steps and show all of your work. All right, thank you. Have a great rest of your day. If you have any questions about any of these problems, please feel free to post the message in chat. Send me a message and I will help you as best as I can.